Godzilla Evolved, Kong with a mechanical arm, confirmations from leaks, Skar King rocking it and much more. Let's dive into this review of the trailer for Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire and see what conclusions we can draw from it. Welcome back to Nerds Insights, your daily nerdy news channel. First off, I want to make it clear that this video is a review, not an in-depth analysis. There's a significant difference between a review and an analysis. A review focuses on what we saw in the trailer. We'll touch on each scene briefly, discussing our impressions. An analysis, on the other hand, is a more detailed and time-consuming process, dissecting every frame to uncover hidden details. So don't confuse a review with an analysis. This one's a review, and later, I'll release an analysis, but that'll take some time, alright? Drop a like on this video and comment from 0 to 10 how much you'd rate this trailer. For me, it's off the charts like a million. I'd like to start by saying we pretty much nailed a lot of stuff from the movie just by watching that trailer. The leaks, theories, rumors, so much checked out when I saw that trailer. Anyone following this channel would know what I'm talking about. Godzilla's evolution, Kong's arm, Kong's offspring, and especially the vibe of the trailer. I dropped a video a day before the trailer predicting how it would roll, and guess what? I called it right, a darker vibe, all about showcasing Skar King's presence. The entire trailer revolved around Skar King. Even though they showed him, like, 2 or 3 times real quick without any fight scenes, you could feel the sheer power and weight this guy. We could totally sense the fear he instills. The sheer size of his paw stuck right in the middle of that rock, intimidating the other creatures from Kong's species. It was something we managed to figure out here on the channel. Just a reminder, I don't have any insider info, I don't work there, I don't have any inside scoop, it was pure speculation, and we hit the nail on the head. Congrats to us. Also a big thanks to everyone who's been commenting on the videos, sharing opinions, dropping info, leaving comments that really add to the content. There's a lot of interaction going on, uncovering more details, so we're building an awesome, super cool community here. I'm learning a ton from you all because I'm fairly new to the MonsterVerse universe. I jumped in around 2021, right after the first Godzilla vs. Kong trailer. When Kong landed that punch on Godzilla's face, that's when I started tuning in, so I don't have the same depth of experience as some folks who've been fans since childhood and all that. You all accepting me into this universe, it's you who made me fall in love with it, alongside the entire production, Legendary, and Warner Brothers. So I wanted to thank everyone and also thank this amazing trailer that's got me hyped up right now. And let's keep going. The trailer kicks off with an explanation that Hollow Earth is way bigger than humans thought. There's life not just on the surface but beneath, in the Hollow Earth. Loads of creatures, dinosaurs, flying animals, kaijus, ancient titans, all still alive and posing a threat to life on the planet. Not just humanity but also other kaijus. Then we see Kong surfacing in Egypt, and according to the leaks, that's where his first bout with the Titan, Shimo, was supposed to go down. Unfortunately, Shimo didn't show up in this trailer. I thought the final take would include him, but nope, it was Kong's offspring. So unfortunately, no Shimo. Maybe he'll only make an appearance in the movie, but with that blue hint, Kong might not be alone in that scene. Maybe even facing off with Godzilla, emitting blue energy instead of red. At least for now. It's interesting that Godzilla throughout the entire trailer was in his new evolved Godzilla transformation, with his dorsal plates and eyes showing that change for the most part. I believe all the scenes we've seen featuring Godzilla are more toward the end of the movie. Perhaps Godzilla only appears from around the middle of the film onward. Like we've been discussing, the movie was originally meant to be Kong's show. There's even a line hinting it's a lot for Kong to handle alone, but the truth is he's not alone. It's from that point onward that Godzilla should start making appearances because the film was intended to be Kong's, not to include Godzilla. However, since the power level was so high and Godzilla generates more hype and money, they decided to include him too. So most likely, all the scenes we've seen of Godzilla are from the middle to the end of the film. Immediately after, we follow Kong in Hollow Earth. Another prediction we got right and are what to expect from the trailer video. Kong is on an exploration mission in Hollow Earth, but he's being chased by a lot, I mean a lot, of monsters, dinosaurs, flying birds. Everything's coming after Kong. He seems to be alone in Hollow Earth, not having the same frequent companionship as he did on Skull Island. Only later, Jia along with the other doctors venture into Hollow Earth to check on Kong, who seems to be fleeing for some reason, I believe, and I'll dive deeper into this in my analysis. But I think Kong is alone in Hollow Earth. After they lose contact with Kong, that's when Jia and the doctors set out to search for him. That's when they witness the scene with Skar King's gigantic hand and encounter Kong's offspring. But I'll save the detailed explanation for the analysis. After that scene of Kong fleeing, we come to the scene I posted in the channel community. So stay tuned there because I'm sharing a lot. Not just about the MonsterVerse but also Marvel, DC, lots going on in the community, and the best way to chat with me directly is through the channel's community. Kong spots a colossal shadow, looking at something he's not quite comprehending. He's on edge, ready to defend himself. but it turns out to be a cub, not exactly from his species. It seems to be a cub of Skar King. But as we've seen in the leaks I've shared several times on the channel, this is likely Suko or Kiko. I can't quite remember the name right now, but this is Kong's offspring, a little primate that Kong will care for as his own child, but will also play a role in releasing Skar King. Perhaps this little primate isn't as innocent as we think, because right after that, Kong falls into a den, a completely dark place in Hollow Earth, and that's where all the action begins. We see an army of primates, Skar King's army, which I've also mentioned here on the channel as part of the leaks that Skar King would have this massive army of numerous primates. Next, there's a scene where it's all glowing purple, kind of like an amethyst stone, and Jia is walking through this area. We know Jia has a strong connection with Kong, so it's likely where Kong is trapped, and she's sensing Kong's energy there. But this place also looks a lot like where Godzilla was trapped in quotes, because I haven't quite figured it out yet. I'll do a better analysis in a bit to see if he was really stuck or just taking a nap. In my opinion, he's already frozen and wakes up as evolved Godzilla, ready to help Kong. Then, Jia along with Dr. Eileen, Dr. Nathan Lind, and Bernie Hayes stumble upon a settlement that seems to live in Hollow Earth, and this group appears to be the same tribe that lived on Skull Island, reinforcing our theory that Skull Island is a direct passage to Hollow Earth, just like there's in Alaska. The people living in Hollow Earth might be the same ones who fled with Kong's family to Skull Island during the Great Titan War. And of course, the scene that stole the show in this trailer, Skar King. Look at the size of him, especially with that weapon wrapped around his neck. He looks like Rambo with a bone vest, and he roars in a very powerful way. It's as if he's showing off all his might to that army, intimidating them because they don't seem to be following him as they should. Right after that, Skar King seems to be on the surface, on a beach with lots of humans running scared. And of course, we've got to talk about that stunning scene with Godzilla's purple atomic breath. We thought it would be red like fire, but no, it's purple, almost like the color of an amethyst stone. Towards the end, we see Godzilla emerging from the rocks with Kong following, both charging towards something or someone, and that's how the trailer ends. Finally, we have Jia and the gang meeting Kong's son, and let me tell you, that little one doesn't seem as innocent as we might think. Remember, this is just a review of what we saw in the trailer. Soon, I'll release my in-depth analysis. I'm already scripting some things I've noticed, pausing frame by frame to bring out the real essence of this trailer, the sequence of events, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel with notifications on. I'm sure you won't regret it when the notification for the detailed analysis drops. That's all for now, and until next time.